funny.
Do you want a chance to win a $100 gift card from DoorDash?
No.
Simply tap and follow at DoorDash on Twitter.
So we haven't really checked in on this at all week. This is E3's official show.
Where have they been?
They've been here. We just haven't watched them.
Oh. What have they been doing then?
Just talking about stuff. That's kind of honestly like
Boring.
they've hosted, you know, this was the only place we could watch the GameSpot thing, which is kind of funny considering GameSpot is the website that was hosting it, but it was only on the E3 channel. I couldn't find it anywhere else.
Yeah.
But that's because it was a E3 conference.
Who is one of my best friends at GameSpot. He does incredible work, and I miss him very much, and I can't wait to hang out with him again. He put a lot of effort into making this happen.
It sounded like he was a little emotional at the start, and I was like, oh.
Can't even hear it.
So, showcase for the summer.
Anyways,
wanted to drive, games that
yeah, it's gonna
cover things like mental.
It was like we said, it was a super great way to close out E3. It's been so chaotic that, you know, a 20 game showcase, just with some long conversations with developers, breaking down their intentions and asking really interesting questions about, you know, how to increase diversity in. Hey. Anyways.
San Diego mention.
Yeah.
Nice.
I guess both. I think his name's Michael here, and the Mix Exchange guy are from San Diego.
Nice. But yeah, 20 games, much more manageable, and like, you know, some of them were ones we'd seen before, but
there's a few
new
new ones.
Bit of a deeper look into them through interviews and things like that. So, good time.
It definitely. I've as I said just before we really started here, like starting to hit my exhaustion wall again with everything we've been doing for E3, and sorry, I got distracted. See, that's how.
There's that wall again. But
I keep bumping into it. Someone move it, please.
Keeps going smack.
That's why what I was gonna say was, you know, as great as that was, it didn't help that part of me right now. The sleepy part of me. It was very
chill.
Laid
back event.
Yeah, and I don't, you know, like you said, a lot of it was things we knew about already. I mean, shout outs to all of the major highlighted games, which was El Paso Elsewhere, Max Payne, like Dead to Rights, like a game where you're playing as an angry black man who's trying to get to the bottom of this giant hotel, where I think either his wife or his daughter is waiting, and he's trying to save them. And you're killing werewolves, you're killing like all kinds of cryptids, and the vibes are just mwah. Supot was the other one, I think, after that. You've heard me talk about that game all week long, but just Filipino cuisine and culture on full display. It's a game where you're cooking, but you have no recipes, and you're encouraged to mess up. And I mean, just that inherently, and being encouraged to mess up in any game is rare.
Yeah.
So, love that.
That's for me. I fucking love to mess up.
And I mean, I think cooking in general can be so intimidating to do at all in person. And so, like, to do it in a video game where they're like, no, you're going to fuck up, but, you know, just keep doing it, you know, is fun too. It, you know, could inspire you to, if it is, I don't know how accurate it is to actual cooking, but you could be like, well, I finally nailed that, you know, that recipe. Let me buy those ingredients and see if now I can do it in real life. You know, it could be a fun
virtual fires only.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think that, you know, it's much more realistic to cooking too. So
yeah, exactly.
You know, if you
like trying to piece together a recipe that you can't just look up, or, you know,
if your like vegetable to meat ratio is slightly off, your spice ratio is like slightly overdone. Like,
Well, I'm curious.
it's not gonna make a disgusting meal or like ruin it like they show in other video games.
I'm curious to see if scoring or what, if there's some kind of system for that and like how that manifests. The cooking game, cooking simulator, whatever they mentioned, does take into account like too much saffron.
Dire consequences.
Does take into account like the taste profile of the dishes you're making and stuff, so like saltiness and
Yeah. I'm curious, just in general, what
if
the
there is
judgment
scoring,
system is like, if there is one, if it's
I just
vibes.
If in a way, I'd be disappointed if there wasn't any form of like judgment / because it's still a video game and you still want to feel that fulfillment of like, oh, I did a good job,
Yeah. I wonder if the social media aspect plays into that. Like maybe it's based.
You post something up and they're like, bro, you fucked up.
Yeah, like maybe that's where the sort of judgment comes in, and or like, oh cool, like I'm glad you tried to make that.
Yeah,
could be a part of it. Who knows?
Yeah. Then the next one was, I think the one they were showing just now, She Dreams Elsewhere, I think was the next big showcase game.
The interview one.
Yeah, and just a lovely game. Again, another game made by a black developer featuring black characters. Deeply, and that's a deep, again, when we were talking about other developers that seem to start bringing in characters that are, have diverse backgrounds, but not necessarily like it's not ingrained in the development process, like based on lived experiences or anything like that. Like Shoe Dreams Elsewhere is one that is 100% that, and I remember being amazed when I played the demo before you get into the coma, because that's the whole premise of the game, is you get into a coma and you're stuck in a dream world and you're trying to figure out how to break your way out. Before you get into the coma, you go to this party with some friends and it's been a while since you've hung out with them. Relatable experience, even more so now, I'm sure, than it was when I first tried it. And you have a panic attack, and just the way they depicted that panic attack and like the dialogue that was happening around you and your own internal dialogue and everything else was just like, it really spoke to me, sadly, because it was relatable, to panic attacks that I've had. And just and it's got this beautiful aesthetic with like some nice neon. Oh,
thanks for listening to me talk about
What?
He dropped some Filipino, dropped some Tagalog,
Nice.
saying his Supot was his game of like almost the whole show,
Yeah.
and thanking everyone in Tagalog.
Lovely.
She Dreams Elsewhere. Cannot wait for that. RPG systems similar to Earthbound and stuff, so really cool there as well. Something that a lot of people love and can latch on to try it, So
Hopefully that demo will be back for the Steam Next Fest. I
Yeah.
didn't notice if it will be, but yeah, I never got to play it that first time around when you did, but I've been intrigued by it since then, so we'll see.
And then the last one they did a highlight for, or one of the, okay, there was actually two more. One of them was Blind Fate, Ito no Yami. It's an interesting concept. It's just hard to see how it manifests in the gameplay, and it didn't communicate that when we watched the trailer. We had to wait for the interview to learn about it. Essentially, you play as a blind samurai who is interpreting the world through what they called essentially like Google Maps data. Like your understanding of the world is based on data of the world that existed pre-apocalypse. There was an apocalypse that happened, and so as you navigate through the world, there are some changes because an apocalypse did happen, and they
shake things up a little
yeah,
bit.
just a little bit. They mentioned specifically like one example being you head towards this bridge, but it turns out there's no bridge there. It collapsed long ago, and you have to figure out how to get new data of the world around you. And so to get that new data is to fight enemies. That is the one, that's the one thing that's confusing about it, is that, like, as a blind character, they explain how you can navigate the world. But then, like, when it comes to the enemies, like, how does that work? How does that manifest in the gameplay? And I don't know. It vaguely feels like, hey, he's blind. Like, that's cool, right? And, like, here's some cool systems there. But, like, not actually a good representation / like, implementation of that, I don't know. Yeah, it's just interesting.
Yeah. Curious to see how that turns out. Like, once people start to be able to play it, what the feedback is on that.
Yeah. Another game that that I think of when it comes to that is Before Your Eyes. I still haven't fully played it myself, but it's a game where you play as a young blind girl who's trying to navigate a world that she can only, perceive within, like, basically almost like a small little bubble around her. And I heard good things about that interpretation. So,
Isn't one of your articles about Before Your Eyes?
Oh, wait, that's still not the game.
Is it a different title?
I think Beyond Your Eyes, maybe? It's so close, I think.
Huh. Something in that realm, I guess.
So, I got confused, but it's okay. And then the last one was Onsen Master, which was made by one of the hosts of the Wholesome Games Direct, which is cool to see. And it's essentially Overcooked if you were running a bathhouse instead. I'd be curious to see all the gameplay I've seen is single player. I'd be curious to see if there is a multiplayer mode where you can have a friend helping you run everything. Because it's about getting people in baths, getting the right herbs in there, and their soup, and I think also providing there's like those it's the papers that fight back, you put it on your door to keep like evil souls away and stuff like that. Like, you put some of that in the soups as well to help these yokai. They are demons and ghosts themselves, I believe. So that's also an interesting take on it.
Hey everyone, I'm Fiona Nova. I am a comic online content
creator.
Yeah.
Looks fun.
Again,
good stuff. Would love to see that have a multiplayer facet, of some sort. But yeah, I mean, other than that, is there anything you want to shout out?
Yeah. I was really surprised by some of the things I didn't know about from Rain on Your Parade. I don't know if that was like a first look at any of those, or
no.
I
mean, the game's been out, so.
Oh, it's out now. Yeah. Okay. Well, it's the first time hearing of it.
It's just incredibly varied gameplay there.
Yeah, really cool, because we saw a little bit of that one time that you streamed it. Pretty simple concept. You're just trying to rain on people and rain on their things and kind of ruin their day a little bit, which is a fun little concept. But yeah, then there are like dungeons and sort of stealth aspects. So I definitely want to play that one. I for sure want to play Rainbow Billy. That's that one where you're coloring in the world.
And your friends and like...
Yeah, making friends like little dragons, ?
By like emotionally connecting with them too and stuff, yeah.
Building friendships. Gotta love that. Yeah, not to be controversial, I know you're about to review Chicory, but for some reason, like, I just haven't had that much interest in it. It's a similar, kind of concept, coloring in the world and all of that. But yeah.
You
For some
fool.
reason, I'm just not captured by that one as much. But I really love the cartoony.
It's got a cute
art
dog
style.
that wears a beret.
I love a dog. It just doesn't appeal to me as much.
How dare you?
But that's okay. Because not every game is for everyone.
How dare you?
And you're about to play it. And you can let me know how wrong I am once you've played it.
Oh, I will.
Oh, I know you will. Anyway, that one has a demo coming out tomorrow during the Steam Next Fest, so that's cool.
Oh yeah, I didn't realize. Yeah, I didn't. That was a surprise.
Yeah.
Because they didn't say that in all the other shows that it's been in. I think it's been in like 2 other ones.
Oh really?
Never said demo coming this week, and then right here in this final thing, right before the end of E3.
Surprise!
Yeah.
Oh, we just finished it. We stayed up throughout all of E3 to finish a demo. And then Freshly Frosted, I talked about, you know, I think I'll be bad at it. Conveyor belt type of game. Because my brain doesn't do strategy and foresight very well.
No
But
planning.
I want to try it. No planning, just vibes for my donuts. And my last one that I would highlight is Lab Rat.
Yeah, I was waiting. I was waiting to see if you weren't gonna do it. I was.
Yeah, Lab Rat looks awesome. I love the concept. It's just funny to be like a tester for video game puzzles, working with this AI. It had really cheeky dialogue, and yeah, just going around testing out puzzles, watching the AI kind of go rogue with it.
Yeah, that was the fun part. So it's very Portal-like because it had this AI communicating with you, and it's just very, like, there's the one part where it's like, I'm going to test a co-op puzzle now with you. And so it was like holding one part of the cube and you had to grab the other, but then that was like causing you to have issues to try to get it to the solution. But then it's like, the robot was just constantly being like, "I'm helping you. I'm a good one. I'm a good friend," you know. And so that's a cheeky take. And then they did this thing where they said like, the game was, they're like, we can see that there are tons of genres for games, and then it turned into like this noir setting, and the lasers became guns, and like the little robots you were interacting with in the puzzles were like, you got nothing on me, you know, and like being all changed. Yeah, and just a total just vibes on that one for sure. Like
Great tone.
Great tone. And I'll try to see if there's anything else really quick before we start to wrap up here.
Soup Pot, of course, was here again. We've kind of talked it to death, but everyone check out Soup Pot.
I did a Soup Pot bit already. That's how much we've talked about it. You forgot I did it like 5 minutes ago.
Help y'all out. Like, I just think it's, yeah.
I literally like talked about.
Oh, because you were talking about the interview, though.
Well, no, and then we were talking about how the game plays, you know.
Oh, Townscaper.
Yeah.
That's another one that I would...
It literally has, I think it has no goal. It's just create little towns.
Absolutely love that.
Like little island
Any
towns.
objectives.
Yeah.
I just want to exist.
Shout out to the depressing looking Spiral. An old man with potentially like Alzheimer's having a, you know, look through his life. Yeah, that one looks like it hurts. No way.
Yeah, really beautiful style though. Probably, I always love like a exploring a person's memories sort of game. That one did say it's going to be the first episode coming out in 2022.
Worrying always, because you know an indie developer works so hard to get that out, that first episode, and then maybe it doesn't perform as well as it needs to, and then suddenly it's just done, and then you never get to see where that goes.
So hopefully that will be good, and we can get some more of it.
Yeah. But yeah, that was there was like 20 games in there. We went and highlighted like 8. Really engaging stuff. and surprisingly engaging, considering half of it was repeat, half of it was just long interviews, and you know, yeah, it was a fun little showcase. Again, great way to wrap up a chaotic week. Speaking of, that's it. That's the end. E3 over. Dead.
Ended.
Gone. E3 ends right now.
Every game developer must be so freaking exhausted right now.
Yeah, I've been sending out some emails to folks all week long, and just last night I was like, okay, it's been 3 days since I got a response from this person. I'm gonna shoot them an email, but I'm gonna make sure, I'm clear that, like, I understand you are having quite a week. I hope it's going okay. Just wanted to refresh this. I'm sure maybe you just missed my reply. Who knows? But yeah, if we are having the kind of week that we had trying to cover everything, the folks that actually make these games are having one hell of a week to make sure. Because you really think about their side of it, right? They're making sure their trailers are in the hands of all the right people. They're making sure they're responding to emails with questions from people that said, "Oh, I just saw your game. I want to know more." Blah, blah, blah,
They're retweeting reviews like ours on Twitter.
Yeah, they're reading
especially like smaller studios. That they're actually running their own.
Yeah, reading and reacting to people reacting to their games. They're working on the game probably still. It's just, there's so much that goes into this week for the game developers and all their publishing partners and PR partners. It is, we'll say it one more time before we never say the word again. It is chaos.
It is chaos.
And guess what? I'm here to kill chaos. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to have us sit here and, if we really did try to do any kind of major wrap up, it would take us literally 2 hours probably to go through and like recap everything that happened in this last week. It all started with Jeff Keighley's Summer Game Fest and the announcement of Elden Ring, which finally blew the internet. I was gonna say a gross thing, so I'm just gonna stop there.
Oh dear.
Blew the internet's collective load is what I was gonna say.
Okay.
And then a bunch of indies kind of took the reins from there. Directly after Day of the Devs was happening, then the Guerrilla Collective, then the Wholesome Direct just blew us out of the water, back to back to back to back to back, and the Tribeca Games Showcase was mixed in there as well. It was just like, there was. Earlier this week, I told you I don't see anything else topping all these indies. And if I were to balance, try to see who brought me the most excitement, indies versus all of the major companies combined, like, it's a very close battle still. Mm-hmm. But I still think it's indies. But, I think Microsoft had... The more we kept talking about this, the more we kind of sat with it, and the more we thought back on the Microsoft showcase, like, that actually was an extremely good show. Mm-hmm. Probably the best of all the major publishers, including, as much as I was freaking out over Nintendo, like, I still think Microsoft just had a wider breadth of games and appealing, genres and subject matter, to a wider audience.
Award them a tie. I'll go for a tie.
For Microsoft and
Nintendo.
Yeah. Nintendo really did. They brought back. They really spoke to some of the core pieces of their audience. Mm-hmm. So Nintendo came today and they had Breath of the Wild 2 finally. They had 3 new games in beloved franchises: Metroid, WarioWare, and Mario Party. They had some good logical announcements about games that are coming to Switch. Just, yeah, you're right. All around, just like, I also had a great show. Ubisoft,
Wah wah.
Wah wah. But still, as we said, each show had some peak and some valleys, you know, so.
And some subterranean
Yeah, for sure.
chasms.
Let's say Chaos is definitely a chasm. We'll say what was the there was still just some bad ones. I mean, some of the stuff in the Final Fantasy one, there was a whole mobile section which was vaguely intriguing, but also come on. I'm trying to. There was another show that really bundled. Oh, the Coke Media one was just
Stinky.
horrible, honestly. Yeah, I still think Indies pulled out in the end. I agree, Raggle
Indies versus the
and I think
Nandies.
it's so close though, and I think it's simply a matter of across all of those shows there were probably 300 indies that were shown, and so like it's just the raw numbers. You were inevitably gonna get at least each person, you know, each gamer had at least a bundle of like 20 to 30 that they were really interested in, and so like when you consider that, it's easy to see. So this is hilarious. So this is the E3 awards. They're doing most anticipated game by each of the showcases that were in the E3 show, because they know if they had to pick one most anticipated game, people would say Elden Ring, and that was not part of E3. So that's kind of hilarious that they're doing it that way.
Workaround.
But yeah, I mean, before I leave, you know, before we leave, and you know, I'm keeping folks longer and longer here, but it's gonna be Guardians. Yeah. I'm sorry.
Little prediction for you there.
I just want to thank everybody for coming out and hanging out at these streams, coming out and hanging out on the blog. It's been extremely heartening to see the support that we've gotten, both via the stream and via the blog, that, you know, it's kind of reaffirmed what I want to do with my life, which I didn't know I wanted, you know, I wasn't sure of. I was almost going to take a job that I probably would have hated just a week ago, and, you know, instead, after a long conversation, you know, Fern and I decided that, you know, we were going to work really hard. Wow, fascinating. Deciding to commit to the blog and you know, establishing my voice and VGG's voice. Fern's gonna be writing as well for the site eventually here, sometime soon this week, hopefully.
Yikes.
And yeah, no, I mean, the numbers speak for themselves. Since we started writing and publishing stuff this week, we've gotten probably closer to 300 plus views on the site, which sounds small, but it's only been like a week. And so, you know, you extrapolate that out into the month, and you're getting close to 1,000 views a month, and then you extrapolate that out into the year, and then you're looking at 12,000 to 13,000 a year. And so, like, those numbers are bigger than I ever expected, and so it's been nice to see the blog be successful in this time. Obviously, it's E3 time. Obviously, there's eyeballs on a lot of this stuff, so it helps. But, you know, you'll be surprised that some of the most successful articles are the more very specific, narrow, like the previews and some other things like that. So, yeah. Yeah, it's so dumb. They're doing most anticipated television game. So this is 100% gonna be part of my E3 needs to change article. Like, E3 is as much as I just gave it a love fest, E3 desperately needs to change. They need to not have this weird split of everything, and yeah, we need to figure it all out. But yeah, I just want to thank everybody for supporting me. Video games are good. Fern, you know, just it's been a great time. So, what? How is that the most anticipated indie game? I don't even remember that. Remember that one? I do vaguely, but come on. Anyways, Fern, do you have any final words as we go back into the mines? I might need to lay down for a little bit or something.
Me too.
I need to figure something out, but I still have 2 things to write today, to try to get out by tomorrow. I got some stuff to play. It's gotten to the point now, chat, where I've got so many things I'm writing about and getting ready to review and stuff that I'm having to schedule out gameplay sessions for some of these just to make sure I get through them. But yeah.
It's been fun. It's been exhausting. We very much appreciate the support. We've got exciting things coming up. Things that are on the hush right now. Things that friends are helping us out with. Putting in hard work. And it's just amazing to have a community of friends out here helping us.
Yeah. No, yeah, I'm honestly gonna try to like literally calculate all the words that we've written.
Oh God.
This week. I wrote honestly the big wrap up posts. Those were closer to like 2,000 to 3,000 words a day.
Yeah.
And then I've now started adding mini previews on top of those. And then we, you know, I was saying earlier we're gonna be doing mini previews for every day through the Steam Next Fest. We also have a few reviews going up very soon this weekend. You should be able to read the magnificent Truffle Pigs review that I did. It's a romantic metal detecting narrative experience. Really fun. And yeah, just a lot of stuff going up. It's exhausting, but also we're gonna ride the wave. You know, we gotta keep things going here, and it's been great. Well, all right.
I think we're gonna call it. I'm probably gonna eat again. I just ate a couple hours ago, but I feel like it's just been such a frantic day that my body's like, we're not.
As much as I need to keep writing right now, I need to get out of this chair for a bit, I think, and go do something else for a little bit.
That's fair.
Even if that means playing a game or two or something, you know. Maybe I can get through one of those shorter games that I need to review. But yeah, everybody, thanks again for all the support and the love you've shown the stream and shown the blog and shown us. It's been fun. Alrighty. One last thing.
Have a great night.
Have a great night. Take care of each other. Hydrate.
See y'all soon.
Oh, I guess that's important to say when the stream will be back. This was a very special thing. But we obviously do stream on this channel regularly otherwise, outside of E3. And so we've kind of started to set up some of the streaming schedule, you know, in this post E3 era. And the blog is fully in effect now, so the content on the blog is feeding into the stream, which is going to feed back into the blog. Yes. But first, our big return is going to be on Saturday with a gameplay session, hopefully the final gameplay session of Backbone. We started that before E3. We're finally going to be able to go in there and finish it. So come see us back here at 5 p.m. on Saturday. But in between now and Saturday, we are going to be deep in the mines, writing and editing and publishing all kinds of articles. So keep Video Games Are Good bookmarked. I think you can go and subscribe to the newsletter, and it'll give you updates when new posts go up. So that'll be fun if you want to do that and keep your eye on the things we're writing about. Yeah, okay, now for real.
Now for real. Goodbye, y'all.
Goodbye. We love you.